And that soundtrack is a banger. Which of course means that Big Boy Boxing's soundtrack is also a banger. Hey everyone, it's David again for the GDWC. We're back with another top 10 games per country list, showing off all of the best games that were submitted to GDWC over the years. This time we're doing Sweden, and that was an easy pick. Over the last few weeks I've gotten so many requests to do Sweden, so I thought, well, it's time, let's just do it. And at this point we're like 2 videos away from having done all of the Nordics. And hey, make sure to comment where you're watching from. Just like this episode, I picked the next videos based on the comments. And as well, make sure you click that subscribe button so you don't miss any upcoming episodes. Which reminds me actually, this is usually a weekly show, but I'm moving it now to every other week. I'm gonna try something a little different in between, a little bit of experimentation. But hey, I mean, this video is stacked. Just take a look. Okay, I don't want to spoil all the games right away. And hey, before we jump into the actual games, let's talk a bit more about Sweden and what makes them so unique. Things like ABBA, IKEA, Spotify, PewDiePie, those are things that are known worldwide. But what about Fika, Midsummer, which is not always like the movie, depends who you're with. Weird pizza combinations that will pretty much disgust anyone unless you're Swedish. And my personal favorite, the Swedish King. Just look at this guy. I mean, don't you just want to be his best friend? And games, obviously, that's what we're here for. I want to show you some games that have come already from Sweden, and this is a huge list, so get ready. And actually, I'm going to split this into 2, indies and major sort of AAA games. Let's go. Bionic Commando Rearmed, Cluster Truck, GeoGuessr, Goat Simulator, Gunman Clive, Helldivers, Hotline Miami, The Hunt Down, My Friend Pedro, Sayonara Wild Hearts, a personal favorite, SteamWorld Dig and all of the SteamWorld games, Teardown, Toem, Totally Accurate Battle Simulator, Townscaper, Valheim, and Yoku's Island Express. And for the major games, Amnesia, Dark Descent, Biomutant, your mom's favorite game, Candy Crush, Crusader Kings,
measure success
from DICE, Battlefield 1942, and basically all of the major Battlefield games, Mirror's Edge, Star Wars Battlefront, It Takes Two,
No sense of time.
the Just Cause series, Little Nightmares, Minecraft, a lot of the recent Need for Speed games, the Payday series, Soma, from Starbreeze, Brothers, A Tale of Two Sons, Chronicles of Riddick, Escape from Butcher Bay,
To escape.
Tearaway, Tom Clancy's The Division, Unravel, Wolfenstein: The New Order, and all of the new Wolfenstein games. I could go just on and on, but I think that's already a pretty comprehensive list. Sweden has immense talent and incredible games. And hey, speaking of incredible games, what about our list? Let's go, let's jump into it now. Well, okay, I lied. I always like to sneak in an honorable mentions if I can. And this game is totally free, and I love this animal. Look, I even have a tattoo of one. Moose Around by Vamoose is a game about destruction. You're a moose on the loose in Sweden as you look for apples to collect. The problem is, the apples are so hard to find. So, you just smash and bash everything, creating absolute chaos. And in case destroying people's beautiful homes wasn't good enough, you can also leave them a nice reminder. So we all know about the dark and gloomy Swedish TV crime shows, right? How We Know You're Alive hits a lot of those similar notes. This free hour-long narrative pixel art game is set in the Bible Belt of Sweden as you explore this melancholic game set in a small town that time seems to have forgotten about. You'll run into old friends, old enemies, and piece together a sad mystery about friendship and lost. And if that's not gloomy enough, it rains pretty much all of the time. Next up, we have a sort of, educational game, but I swear it's way more fun than it sounds. Some slay uncool monsters from Doomstar is next. You use math to defeat swarms of enemies as you explore through dungeons. You'll be presented with a sum, and it's up to you how to reach that number. But each enemy has a timer to them before they attack you. So you can't just sit there and think. Even a few seconds and they'll be attacking you, so you need to be quick. There's a whole cast of characters with different abilities to choose from as you level up and progress even further. It reminds me a lot of Puzzle Quest, but with math, and the base game is totally free to play with additional DLC for more characters available. Oh, and check out this adorable overworld. Up next is the roguelike dungeon crawler, Dungeon Core. You're armed with guns as you delve deeper and deeper in these dungeons, facing off against monsters that just don't like you being there. But as you get further, you'll find tons of new gear and permanent upgrades to level up your character. And you'll need it. It's not just the enemies, but there's some brutal bosses and rooms that turn into bullet hell challenges. If you're familiar with games like Enter the Gungeon, you'll know exactly where you're getting here, and it's totally worth playing. Especially because I really know what's at the core of the dungeon. In 7th place, we have a game made by 3 brothers. Grand Mountain Adventure is next. This ski and snowboarding game starts off small, asking you to simply make it down the mountain with their intuitive controls, as you wiggle your board left and right to a start. But the game quickly grows into forklift rides up huge mountains with dangerous routes, avalanches, and huge crevices to navigate around. But the more I played, the more I realized the open world playground that the devs created here. I could totally go off course, and in fact, they add other tracks to sort of pique your curiosity and discover other ways down the mountain. It evokes many of the same feelings from playing lowly mountains downhill, but of course during winter. The game perfectly balances between exhilarating and this sense of serenity. The world is so welcoming, it almost feels like you're playing in a miniature diorama world. It's out now for Steam, iOS, Android, and Nintendo Switch. Our next game is an extremely unique mashup of different genres. I'm talking about Creature Kind by Valiant Game Studio. Let me throw out a couple genres and I'll explain afterwards. Non-violent, card battler, deck builder, visual novel. You start off as a trio with different abilities, like the main character Riley is really good at hugging. You'll encounter different monsters that are trouble, and I mean, they probably also need some help. Early on, you'll meet this troll who's glued to his laptop. Get it? And as you battle, you can listen to them and find out how you can help them. Riley, the hugger, can give kindness to a monster in hopes of making them more understanding and accepting. It's really sweet and just wholesome, and I think a game with valleys like this are really needed nowadays. The game is still in early development, but you can pick up the alpha demo now on Steam. Okay, we're halfway through the list, and I've got yet another game that's still kind of early in development. RoboB by Simon Fredholm is next. This game is an intense first-person roguelike shooter rhythm game. Sounds like a lot, but listen up. As you face off against enemies in this neon technicolor world, matched with the booming techno and synthwave soundtrack, you'll match up attacks to the beat, and you'll be rewarded with bigger and better combos by doing so. Higher damage and reduced cooldowns if you can keep up the beat. But it's obviously not just a standard shooter. You also have abilities like wall running, sliding, a grappling hook to combine with your shooting. And if you've heard of the upcoming game Metal Hellsinger, it seems like a similar gameplay experience, but obviously, RoboB is more of a techno world. The game is looking extremely promising. Keep an eye out for this one. Alright, next up is, well, I'm excited for this one. Darkbolt is a roguelike survival game set in an 1800s Lovecraftian apocalypse. You start as this cloaked character armed with a melee weapon and a gun as you sneak around and explore this dark and horror-tinged city. Your movements are heavy and deliberate, which means that everything you do should be intentional. And if you snoop around enough, you'll find materials and items that you can use to gain friendships, upgrade your home base, and even more. It feels very much inspired by Bloodborne with its gothic themes, but with a bigger emphasis here on sneaking and shooting. The game is only a demo now, but it looks extremely promising. Go give them a wish list. In 3rd place, Usurper Soulbound by Caspian Interactive. You're just a soul trying to fight your way back to life, but you have the unique ability to take over bodies of other enemies or even other heroes. The combat is reminiscent of Souls games. You know, oftentimes it's just one-on-one battles where even the smallest minions can kill you if you're not careful. The game is completely playable in 2-player co-op, which is huge for the genre. The game is out now in early access and continuously updated.
Faithless.
Ooh, I'm excited for our number 2 game. I've said it before, I'm a huge Nintendo fanboy. Big Boy Boxing is next. This stunningly beautiful pixel art boxing game has you starting off as a nobody, an underdog, as your coach who is awesomely voice acted teaches you the ropes to become the best.
Come on now, we got some big boys up for boxing.
Over time, you'll learn new abilities like slowing down time, or healing yourself, or as well, the Mega Punch. The game obviously pulls a lot of inspiration from Nintendo's Punch-Out series, But that's not the only one. The music sounds like it was pulled from the Super Nintendo game TMNT 4 Turtles in Time. And that soundtrack is a banger. Which of course means that Big Boy Boxing soundtrack is also a banger. You'll face off against these full of life, over-the-top cartoony characters with just amazing animations that you absolutely need in a pixel-perfect boxing game like this. Check it out for yourself. The game is set to release in 2022 and there's a demo now on Steam. And in first place is not one game, but actually 3 from the same dev team. Over the years, they've submitted 3 other games to GDWC, 3 amazing games. Sea Salt is an action strategy game. The Aquatic Adventure of the Last Human is a submarine action-adventure game, and most recently, my favorite of the bunch, Post Void, an arcade roguelike first-person shooter. Post Void is an extremely stylized first-person shooter where time is your biggest enemy. In one hand, your gun, in the other, a vial with draining energy keeping you alive. The only way to replenish the vial is to kill as you try and reach the end of the level. The gameplay is fast, like really fast. You don't have time to sit and idle or you'll just die. It's frantic and intense, and in between rounds, you get to choose from different upgrades. Stuff like a new gun, or slowing down enemies, bigger magazines, a whole bunch of options. And these tight rooms and corridors reminds me a lot of old school Wolfenstein, only at about, 100 times the speed. And hey, last thing, they've also been teasing the next game coming out in 2022, Keep Driving, so keep an eye out for that. Well, alright, that was my list, my favorite GDWC submitted games from Sweden. I want to know as well, which one was your favorite? Just drop a comment down below. And as well, don't forget, you can subscribe to us so you don't miss the upcoming episodes. I really appreciate you watching till the end. You're the people that I make these videos for. So, thanks so much for watching. Until next time.